Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Men Talk About. I am your host, Paul Newell, and I got the audio and the video on this one with two of my guys right here, man. I'm freaking amped for this. I have Jacob Germansky, and I also have Coach Walter McCloud. Jacob from Jagged Fitness, Walter McCloud doing his thing, speaking to the youth, man, speaking and motivating all. I'm excited, and we are all in the health and wellness industry. We all met at a facility, and I feel like our connection and past created another trajectory, which brings us here. So, I had to take a breath on that, man. So listen, let's start this off. We're gonna kick off first the introduction, so you guys know who's in this container that we're speaking in. Jacob, can you start off? Give an intro for who you are and who you are, man.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Jacob Germansky, what's up, y'all? I born and raised in New Jersey and moved around a little bit as I grew up. Kind of grew up at the shore, then moved out to Portland, Oregon, and then moved back to Jersey a couple of years ago. And I'm happy to be back. It's been a crazy journey to come to a position that now I'm on track to building a career. And I have always been involved in fitness since I was 16, working out, in the gym when I was younger, 3 hours, because I was crazy back then, and I had the time too. And then as just kept training as years went on, and stayed on track with training and mindset and evolving how I train and how I view health and fitness as a whole as years went on. I came back to Jersey. I went to a trade school for personal training. And after I graduated from there, started working at a gym, and obviously that's where we met and everything. And that kind of started my career. I got that knowledge base and to give a good jump start in the field, and then ever since then continuing reading every day, trying to stay up with what's current in terms of health and fitness, and kind of brings me to the point today that now I'm focusing on building my own culture and my own brand, and that culture comes from the people that are involved in Jagged Fitness. People who I guess I'll break down Jagged Fitness a little bit later on, because it's just an introduction, but really focus on building that up, to a point that is a very big community throughout North Jersey, Central Jersey, and South Jersey as well. Just basically everything as a whole there, to make people healthy, happy, and live a great lifestyle and educate and everything. So that's a little introduction. I kind of went on a rant.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's an intro, man. They're getting to know you, man. We got some time too. It's a blessing, man. Thank you, and welcome to the book.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah,
my man. Bless up. Walt, man, introduce yourself, man.
If you don't know me already, my voice is loud enough. So after knowing me for a little bit, you're gonna hear me coming from wherever you're standing in the room. But tell you a quick bit about myself. Born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. I met these two gentlemen at the same place in Lifetime Fitness. It was an instant connection between the both. You, Paul, first day I met you, I talked to you for an hour. Like literally the first time I met you, we talked for an hour. Jacob, we just literally, I think, saw ourselves in each other, and it was like looking in the mirror. A weird mirror, but a mirror itself. But no, the facts are instant connection. Glad to have you two in my life. Like I said, born and raised in Newark, grew up single family home. My dream in life was to have a family, be a good father, be a great father. Be a good father, be a good husband. Now my passion in life is to teach everybody how to be their best selves. And for me, myself, to be not only a good father and husband, to be the best one, the one that people can look at as a role model for all their potential sons and daughters, as what a man in a household looks like for their family. I did grow up in a a single family household, which gives me the opportunity to understand what it's like when that dynamic of a father or a husband is not there. So it fuels me, but it also forces me into situations where I just need to understand myself a little bit more so I can be, I guess, even better for the people that I'm trying to motivate. As I learn day to day who I am, I realize how much more I need to learn, which is amazing, scary, and awesome all at the same time. But it is the journey. And in the journey, I'm going to have the opportunity to provide guidance for others who are on their journey or haven't even started their journey yet. And the fact is, you're on a journey to something, whether that's to a good place or a bad place is up to you. Well, that journey is going in a circle, staying in the same place. That's still up to you. I'm just here to give people the opportunity to see a way forward as I continue to make a way forward for myself. You'll learn more about me through my Instagram, through conversations with Paul and Jacob. I'm not gonna spend too much more on that. Let's go.
We got good. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into it. And thank you all. Welcome, man. Listen, for those that are passionate into this, the first time you're hearing men talk about podcasts. As a host, like this is something that I'm bringing to the people. This is my way of being of service, specifically to men. My goal here is, I've been in the fitness industry for a minute. It's been 20 years, 22 years. Damn. Anyway, and I've seen and experienced some things, and I do this podcast so I can have men like Jacob, men like Walt on the podcast, so that other men can hear different ways of well-being and what is meant for each man in their journey. And that's what brings us three together, because Walt, I was talking to Walt, he was talking about how him and Jacob wanted to do a podcast, and I was talking to Walt about this podcast that I'm doing, and Walt was like, yo, it's wild because I'm 10 years older than Jacob, and you're 10 years older than me. And I was like, oh, junk. And it was like,
let's go.
For those that are listening and watching this, like those moments when you're like, oh, it was like, yo, we got to do something, man. We got to do something. So we figured we all get together and talk about our experience. You guys heard a little bit about us and where we are. We figured we get together and talk about our thoughts and our journey, why we do what we do, and where we're going, like who we're looking to help, and the things we've seen. And that's the intention. And it may go somewhere else in conversation, which is relevant. So men, at the space that we're in, like Jacob, I heard for you, like you're at a place that is evolving, you're building your brand. Walt, you said you talked about being a good father, good husband, understand more self so you can be there for your audience. And I'm in that space as well with where both you guys are. I'm curious to know, at where you are in your space, what's it like to brand who you are in what you do? Branding who you are and what you do.
The best way to brand yourself is to bring your intent and bring yourself into every environment. I think when you're in one space, if you give what you are 100% in that space, people will be able to tell you have the opportunity to help them in that same way in other spaces. So for example, I can talk about myself personally because obviously it's easiest to explain who I am sometimes. I'm enthusiastic, I'm inspiring. So in everything I do, I'm gonna make sure I'm enthusiastic and inspiring. So if a situation comes up that someone says, hey, I need this, and I'm doing something else for them, I'll mention that I can help, and then they'll already know what I can bring to the table from that standpoint. They'll already know if they're happy with the way I've been enthusiastic and inspiring in their personal training, and then I say I know how to help them with finding a house, they'll be like, yo, I need that. If they need someone that's going to push them forward and help them get excited about that process, they're going to trust that what I'm saying, I can lead them in that direction. I think from the standpoint of view, like from my experience knowing you, I believe you're very systematic and patient, and you dive deep in your approaches. And if I say to someone, if I'm working with you and you're working with me with animal flow, and then I say, hey, bro, I think I need to get stronger now. I know that you're going to deep dive into that approach, whatever it is. You're going to make sure that I have the best solution possible because you systematically want to make sure I have a system in place that's going to help me be successful so I can trust your guidance in that next thing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
If
That brings up another question. I want to hear what Jacob was saying too.
Yeah, so I mean, if I could add to that, almost just kind of clear that up. I think the best way to look at it is to not be somebody who you're not. So be true to what you know and be true to what you're good at, and people will come to you based on just that knowledge of that. Like they could see the confidence that you have because everything that you say and you do with a true purpose and with not steering somebody wrong, you know. So if somebody comes to Paul, right, like let's do animal flow, but then later on they want to get stronger, you know, you're going to deep dive into that because you have a very good knowledge in terms of how to get them stronger and properly, so that, you know, they don't get hurt along the way, right? Somebody comes to Walt to you know, how do I got this family situation, right? You know, Walt's a great father, so let me get some advice from Walt in terms of that fatherly advice, that kind of thing. How do I say this or go about this to my son or daughter, kind of thing. So I think that that's how I'd say in terms of branding is just don't go far off of your direction. Like have kind of a very clear niche in terms of like what you're about and who you are. And it could be a lot. It could be a lot of various things. But be very clear on what that is. And, you know, if you can't answer a question properly, or if you can't steer somebody in the right direction, like say like, all right, go talk to this person, you know, that's your person right there, you know?
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you, Jacob. Cause I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned over my time. And I really appreciate, it's like we're all in the same space as far as, you know, be who you are. And I think this message really goes to people that are in either the fitness industry or any industry. Is be who you are, and then allow that to come through. The other scoop I got from that too is asking for help and referring. Because I know when I first got in the game, it was like, yo, man, hold up. No, that's my client. Nah, man, you know what? Don't worry about that. Nah, man. Whereas now it's like, oh, Junk, you want to get strong? Yo, Walt, Jacob. Like, listen, I know for me, I'm like, look, Dell's deadlifting days were in my late 20s and 30s. I'm at early 20s. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good, man. But I think that's the key thing too, which I think is unique about our connection. And what was before we were on the Zoom, we were talking before, and we were all appreciative of the fact that, you know, regardless of the age, it's like our wisdom, that wisdom that we can share with each other is timeless.